Wait a minute. Now, wait a minute.
Right in the office.
Wait a minute. Are you under arrest? Am I under arrest? Am I under arrest?
You place him under arrest. Go ahead, brother.
Am I under arrest? Am I? Take your hands off me if I'm not under arrest.
Am I under
I'm
arrest?
telling you to take your hands off me.
Is he
Take
under
your
arrest?
hands off me.
How many you got? Just follow me.
Second officer. Second officer.
The people in this court and the people in the legislature have not been acting like human beings. They put trumped up charges of conspiracy and felonies on everyone who went in to exercise a constitutional right and said they had no right to bear arms in a public place. The California Penal Code section 12020 through 12027 and also the Second Amendment of the Constitution guarantees the citizen a right to bear arms on public property.
I was standing by the gate. As a rule, the fellas that come through, if they have a card, we let them in. Otherwise, we don't. But this bunch came just rushing through. No stopping at all. They knocked me away from the gate altogether.
Did it knock you down?
Yes, sir.
And what happened then?
Well, they went on into the chamber.
And under our rules and regulations of the assembly, you're only permitted in the downstairs part of the assembly with a guest pass from a member, which they did not have.
I'd like to make a statement now with this respect. Statement of the Black Panther Party for self-defense on the Mulford Act now pending before the California legislature. The Black Panther Party for self-defense calls upon the American people in general and the black people in particular to take full note of the racist California legislature, which is now considering legislation aimed at keeping the black people disarmed and powerless at the very same time that racist police agencies throughout the country are intensifying the terror, brutality, murder, and repression of black people.
Well, I think it's a ridiculous way to try and solve the problems that have to be solved among people of goodwill, and there's certainly nothing that can be done in the line of goodwill when Americans have guns with even the implied idea that those guns might be directed against other Americans. But I would think that some of the bills that have been suggested, such as not carrying a loaded weapon on a city street or in town, this might certainly be a good one. There is absolutely no reason why out on the street today civilians should be carrying a loaded weapon.
As you know, they are now being booked under Section 9051 of the Government Code, and evidently the district attorney here in Sacramento states that they violated the law by entering the chambers while the assembly was in session.
Okay? I am saying this is the seat of government, but I'm saying those in there and what they're doing is what has to be changed.
Are you saying that you can change it with the vote now instead of with the guns?
We're saying, like Malcolm X said, the ballot or the bullet.
Why didn't you bring the guns up today like you did a year ago?
What's the necessity of the guns? You know we represent guns and self-defense of black people in the black community.
What influence do you think you can have here today, then?
What influence that we have here today is going to be based primarily on the fact that the Black Panther Party has not been destroyed by the conspiracy of the racist power structure, Oakland, San Francisco police departments, the chief, the mayor, and Reagan too, which we feel he's all in it too.
I think that this marks the beginning of a turning point for poor people in this country when we will, when we will see to it that we can't have starvation and deprivation in a land of plenty when we're sending millions and billions of dollars around the world.
In addition to the suit that we're going to institute on behalf of Mr. Cleaver and all other prisoners, we promise the adult authority that we are going to picket every single penitentiary in the state of California, up and down the state, including the conservation camps. We demand that the adult authority immediately pay a full minimum wage to all convicts whatsoever. At present, there are convicts in the state penitentiary who work 40-hour weeks for $3 a week. There are convicts who work 40-hour weeks for nothing. I did for 3 years.
university belongs to us, to the students, the faculty, and the people. This university is not the property of Governor Reagan and the other regents.
We're not interested in what Ronald Reagan thinks individually. We consider him a two-bit Hollywood actor, and that's the way we're going to treat him.
And why did you go in and read the demands to him?
Because unfortunately, this two-bit Hollywood actor happens to run this state and happens to be responsible for what's happening in Berkeley and elsewhere in this state. We read those demands as basically ultimatums. They are non-negotiable demands. Our struggle around the park continues until those demands are met in full.
Well, yes, I think it's a shame, because it isn't the way to solve anything. Just to have a rally and come all the way to Sacramento to stand here and talk to each other, which is what they did. They made it very plain they didn't want any information from us, so they weren't here to hear from apparently anyone in government. So they came a long way to hear the people they could have heard back home.
There are still in many states restrictions. The high cost of abortion, because it is illegal and because there are restrictions, deny poor and black, Raza, Asian American, and Native American women that basic right. And so many times these women are driven into the hands of criminal, illegal abortionists and die. We feel that we have the most reason to oppose these laws and to have them wiped out.
Our bodies, our lives, our right to decide. Our bodies, our lives, our right to decide.
You have one child or more. Do you feel that you would ever want or need an abortion?
Sure.
Well, couldn't you get it under the current law?
I'd have to say that I was emotionally unstable or something. I'd have to say I was a danger to myself or to others, and thus needed an abortion. But, you know, there are many reasons why I might get pregnant and not be able to afford or take care of a child and still not be emotionally unstable.